Welcome back, everyone, to the late night review. And tonight I had to get back to Rambo. I really like the Rambo franchise. I love that franchise since I was a kid. Actually, the Rocky movies, I've always loved the Rocky films with Sylvester Stallone. I love that franchise. When I was a kid, I liked both the Rocky franchise and the Rambo franchise. Loved them both. Rocky a little bit more as a kid. As I've gotten older, I've liked Rambo more. Rambo has risen. I've always loved them both, but Rocky a little bit more when I was a kid. And then as I've gotten older, I've always kind of gravitated more towards Rambo. I love Rambo. He's the outsider. He's the loner. He's the guy who, I really resonate with him. I mean, not everything, but I really like both characters actually. Rocky, I like Rocky Balboa, and I love Rambo, John Rambo. Rambo 2 is what I'm talking about tonight. Rambo 2. I saw this at the theater. I was taken to see it as a very little kid. I was taken to see it as a baby. And I've seen it over and over again on the paid channels. And then I saw the videotape. We rented it over and over again. I've always loved Rambo 2. It's not my favorite in the franchise, but I do like Rambo 2. I had the toys. I had Sylvester Stallone Rambo as a kid. I had that as a kid, and then I had the Russian that he fought in here. The guy that he fights in here, the Russian guy on the helicopter, he was in Lionheart, I believe. He was one of the guys sent after Jean-Claude Van Damme to the United States to bring him back. He's from the French Foreign Legion. He's a tough-looking guy, too. I've seen him in other films as well. But, yeah, I had the toy Rambo. I believe I had Troutman, too, and used to play with him all the time. All the time I played with him. Love Rambo, too. I like the idea that he goes back to rescue POWs. In the Rambo movies, anything with Vietnam is something I'm interested in. It kind of strikes a chord with me. My dad was in Vietnam. He was in 173rd in Vietnam, and he spent a little time in the 101st too, but primarily 173rd around the Iron Triangle area from 66 to 68, I believe. Both my parents had passed away. My dad, he's passed away in 2016. My mom in 2020. But yeah, anything to do with like Vietnam reminds me of my dad because he was in Vietnam. And it just takes me back really to nostalgia, sad things too, but it takes me back to when I was a kid and I watched the Rambo movies over and over again. Always liked the Rambo franchise, Missing in Action, that franchise. There was a really it was a sad documentary. I think it was called Letters from Home. It was about Vietnam, and they had very well-known narrators in there. I think they had Tom Berenger was one of the narrators in there, Michael J. Fox. They had quite a few people were involved in that documentary. They had Harvey Keitel, I think, was one of the narrators. They had numerous actors. It's been so long since I'd seen that documentary, Letters from Home. It's quite a moving documentary about Vietnam. Then they had some music in there too that was sad. Oh, Hard Rain by I got teary-eyed when I heard Bob Dylan's Hard Rain song come on when they were showing clips of Vietnam, and that was really sad. But anyway, don't want this to be a sad review. I want it to be a positive review, interesting. But when the subject matter of Vietnam comes up, it's kind of hard to avoid. But Rambo 2, unlike Rambo 1, Rambo 2 is primarily an action movie. Even though you have him going back to rescue, they don't send him to rescue POWs, but he's supposed to take pictures and photographs. And the higher ups can't be trusted. They don't really care about Rambo. They just want to use him to get photographs of this area. But when Rambo finds out there are real POWs there, he wants to go get them. And he tells one of the people he's with, the lady that helps him, the Vietnamese lady. She's playing Vietnamese. I've seen her in other movies. I think she's a Chinese actress. She was in a movie called China Cry, and then a couple other movies I'd seen her in a long time ago. Good actress. Name escapes me right now. She's a good actress. She and Sylvester Stallone, Rambo start to like each other in here, but he tells her no more rules, go, because he's supposed to just take pictures. When he finds out there's POWs there, he wants to go rescue them, and he does. He goes in, and I like Rambo too. I really like it a lot. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid growing up. I had so many different favorite movies when I was a kid. Every time I saw a new Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, that was my new favorite. Every time I saw a new Stallone or Arnold movie or Clint Eastwood movie or Charles Bronson or Chuck Norris or Van Damme, that was my new favorite. So I had so many that I liked. And this was one of those. Rambo 2 is a movie I have a lot of nostalgia for. We played Army all the time when I was a kid. My dad, we went camping. My dad and I, we used to go camping, and we played Army all the time, and he showed me different things because he was in Vietnam. He knew what he was doing, and I learned from him. And we watched Rambo, and I thought about Rambo, and I also thought about Chuck Norris and the Missing in Action movies. I thought about we watched Hamburger Hill. That was another good Vietnam movie, really, really good. Platoon Leader was another one. Two different movies, but we always watched movies like this. And when we played Army, I always thought about those movies. But Rambo 2 is a movie that I still like very much to this day. It is a really good movie. It's not my very favorite Rambo movie, but it's one of my favorite movies. I love all the Rambo movies. That franchise has always been one that I've loved quite a bit. Rambo 2 has plenty of action in it. If you love action, you'll really like Rambo 2. If you like Vietnam type action movies, you'll like it. And the Siege of Firebase Gloria. That's another movie that a lot of people probably haven't heard of, but I loved it with Arlie Ermy and Wings Hauser. I always loved that movie. Maybe I'll do a review of that one day in the future. I'll do it right now. No, I'm just kidding. But that was the Siege of Firebase Gloria. It just came to mind. That was a fun movie. I mean, dramatic, but it was a movie that I liked quite a bit. Still do. Rambo 2 is a movie that I always will like. There's one or two other installments in the Rambo franchise that I like better. Maybe most of them I like better than Part 2, but it's close. Part 2, when it first came out, it was my favorite, obviously. Later, I went back to the first one. As a kid, I wanted to see more action. As a kid, my taste was, dramas are fine, but I want to see more action and fighting. So when I was a kid, Part 2 was my favorite. And then as I got older, I went back to Part 1 and liked that better. Part 2 is a good action movie. It's got some drama because of the content. It's got a couple scenes in here that are sad, a couple death scenes or close to death scenes that are sad. And he avenges the lady that he was kind of getting close with, the one that was helping him. And then obviously too at the end with the rescuing of the POWs. I think during the rescue, one or two of them died, and that was sad. But he finally brought most of them back and rescued them, brought them back to the base. And Troutman was there, and he said, "You'll get a second Medal of Honor for this." And there's a really touching scene at the end of Part 2 also about, and it always gets to me too when Troutman says, "What do you want?" And he says, "I want," and then he points to the POWs, "I want what they want. And every other guy who came over here and spilled his guts for our country to love us as much as we love it." And I'm probably butchering it. I can't remember every single word, but it just came to me now. Every time he says that, it gets to me. So this movie is not without its drama. Part 1 is primarily a drama. Part 2 is primarily an action movie. But this one's not without its drama. It has it too. And it is a good movie to me. It delivers the goods. If you want to see action, it has it. If you want to see drama, it has some drama in it too, but not as much as the first one. I really like Rambo Part 2. There's good fights, some good fight scenes in here too, besides the shooting scenes. There's a scene in here where he's camouflaged and got mud on him and they're hunting for him and he takes them out one by one. There's scenes in here that any action lover will probably like if you like action, but it's mixed in with drama and the content. I think the characters, Troutman is good in here. Um, the guy that was in Karate Kid plays one of the bad guys in here, and I forgot his name in real life. What's his name? But he was in Karate Kid. I grew up watching the Karate Kid. I went to the theater to see part two, and it was actually a date with it was actually a date. I was just a little kid, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and her name was Helen, I believe, and we had a good time. They drove us to the theater. We watched it, and then they picked us up at Karate Kid Part 2. I'm talking about Rambo Part 2 right now, but Karate Kid Part 2, I saw that at the theater. But yeah, he was in those, and he's also in, I believe he's a reoccurring character on the TV series, or was it HBO or Showtime? I don't know. Cobra Kai. I'm not into it. I'm not watching it, but he's in there too, I believe. But yeah, he was in Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. He plays one of the bad guys in here, but he doesn't have a huge role, an important role, because they leave him behind. And and then Rambo has to get back to base on his own after they leave him behind against Troutman's wishes. He tries to help Rambo, but they stop him. But this, almost all my reviews are spoiler reviews because I'm talking about movies that have been out for decades. So sorry about that. Almost every review I do is a spoiler review, because I'm talking about movies I have nostalgia for, movies I grew up with. Most of the time, that's what I'm doing. Most of the time, I'm talking about movies that have been out for years or decades. So, but yeah, the story in here is good. It's satisfying. I think the ending is pretty satisfying. The content of the story is pretty satisfying. Rambo 2's always been one of my favorite action movies. And if by some chance you haven't seen it, I think you're in for a treat. If you like action and you like Sylvester Stallone, I think you'll like it. It's got 80s atmosphere, 80s action, and the score is good too. So I think you'll like it. This has been the Late Night Review. Please like and subscribe and share this video with others so they can see this type of content. Please give it a thumbs up. And thank you, everyone, and have a good night.